Welcome friends. In this particular video lecture we will learn about the cell cycle and cell division. I will try to cover maximum content from NCERT and in 30-40 minutes we will have the um overview of this chapter. So let's start from the cell cycle first. Cell cycle. What is cell cycle? Just like we have our life cycle, we came to this life and we are growing from our childhood to our teenage to our um, the reproductive age, adult life. Then we reproduce, we produce organisms, we help them to grow, and then after some time we get old and then we die. If you believe in a religion, you will also believe in the rebirth, right? So we take a new birth. So just like that, our cell has its cell cycle. So we can divide the cell cycle into two main phases. And these phases are, first is interphase and second is the M phase, in which actually the cell is going to divide. Interphase and M phase. I hope it is visible to you. And the interphase has its own three phases. First is G1 phase, second is the S phase, third is the G2 phase. Okay, so interphase, which is also called as a resting phase, and it has we can divide interphase into these three subphases, G1, S and G2. Then M phase, if it is mitosis, then M phase will have two subphases called the karyokinesis and second is the cytokinesis. Okay, karyokinesis and cytokinesis. Karyokinesis again have the four phases. First is prophase, second is metaphase, third is telophase, sorry, my bad, anaphase, and fourth is telophase. And cytokinesis, the division of the cytoplasm. Okay, so we can divide whole cell cycle into these two phases: interphase, M phase. Interphase into these three: G1, S, and G2, karyokinesis and cytokinesis. So, what is G1 phase? G1 phase is the first phase of interphase. When cell gets born and it is produced from the pre-existing cell. Suppose new cell is produced and it is in G1 phase. So cell will grow in its size. So what will happen in the G1 phase? Cell will increase its cytoplasm. It will be metabolically active. First thing. And it will be in a growing state. Just like us. We are born and then we are growing. Our cell mass increases, our body mass increases, our um, weight increases, height increases, etc. Just like that, cell is born and cell is metabolically active in the G1 phase. So it's the first phase of the cell cycle. Then it enters into the S phase. So what is S phase? S for synthesis. So it is going to synthesize new DNA molecules. Okay. So in this S phase, cell will produce new DNA. So DNA replication is the most important process which takes place in the S phase of the cell cycle. So what will happen is cell is having the chromosome which something look like this in the G1 phase. Although it doesn't appear when we observe the cell in the G1 phase, you cannot observe, you cannot see the chromosomes because it is in a decondensed form. So you will see the chromatin material. Once it will get condensed in the prophase, then you can observe the chromosomes. But still, chromosome will be in this state in the G1 phase. It is not having two sister chromatids because it has not done DNA replication yet. So where do these chromosomes are going to double their DNA? In the S phase. So in the S phase, you will see chromosomes are doing replication, the DNA is doing replication, and then they will be appearing like this. In which phase? The S phase. So DNA replication is taking place in the S phase, and the amount of DNA is getting doubled. Remember the amount of DNA only. So this DNA is 2C, this will be 4C in case of the S phase. The amount of DNA is getting doubled, but not the chromosome number. So this is one chromosome, this is also one chromosome. This has the ploidy level and this also has the ploidy level and this is an haploid cell. This will be also an haploid cell. The chromosome number are not getting doubled. Only DNA content is doubled. Okay, that's the thing we have to notice here. So S phase, cell is doing DNA replication, and what will cell do in the G2 phase? In the G2 phase, cell will perform the protein synthesis. Cell will make the proteins required for the M phase. So cells needs a lot of proteins for the division of the cell, and those proteins will be synthesized in the G2 phase. Okay, so protein synthesis for M phase will be done in the G2 phase. The cell will be matured. Cell will be matured enough to divide, which is going to happen in the M phase itself. Okay, so this was about the interphase. It is we also call interphase as a resting phase. Cell majority of time spent in this phase, interphase. If cell has a lifespan of 24 hours, then cell will spend 23 hours in the interphase. 90%, 95% of time cell will be in the interphase. In the last 1 hour, cell will divide, which is M phase. Okay, so this was about the interphase.